Okay, so this week we got to talk about Freud, which is always a fun conversation. And we answered the questions about whether or not, or the ways in which he has contributed to the field of psychology and potentially changed its trajectory, as well as whether or not we think psychoanalysis is the strongest discipline in psychology or not. And just in regards to that second question, it seemed as though a lot of us agreed that psychoanalysis is the strength of it within our field is very debatable, but certainly it is the most popular of the psychology disciplines. Anna did say that she actually thought it was the strongest because it showed that there was a way that we could help people having rough times, and that in and of that self, that desire to not only take ideas that we're learning but then translate it and try and make it applicable is what makes it the strongest. So I thought that was a pretty cool perspective, but I did notice that it seemed like the rest of the people in the group tended to kind of not feel as though it was necessarily the strongest, but certainly the most popular. So we also talked about just some of the different ideas that Freud introduced. Of course, we all seem to disagree, or not disagree, but agree that some of Freud's ideas were pretty over the top. What I really liked is Sai mentioned that she felt as though his ideas were really solid, but due to the popularity, Freud over-exaggerated those ideas, and that's where you get these like crazy stories about, you know, just the Oedipus complex and these things that just seem so ridiculous. And I liked her perspective, saying that basically he was playing into the public appeal, and so that's how his ideas seem to get misconstrued. But really, there's a real science and a real brilliance behind it. So I kind of liked that perspective. But we also talked about other aspects, the fact that he highlighted childhood development and how that's important for just basically creating the trajectory for a human being into adulthood, and if there's certain traumatic experiences that can carry on throughout the rest of life. He also highlighted, of course, the unconscious. I thought it was cool that Anna said that we should consider his idea of the unconscious as an iceberg, so that whenever you meet clients, you need to understand they're not going to tell you everything, that you're seeing just the tip, but there's so much more. And she felt that Freud was really the basis of establishing that idea in counseling and therapy psychology. And then, of course, too, we talked about how he kind of really did, in a positive way, a debatably positive way, put psychology out into the forefront, into the public. And as Sai said, he embraced the darker side and showed us, you know, sexy parts about psychology, which was so attractive to the public, which I really liked. Gosh, I feel like I've been rambling for a bit longer than normal, so I might just cut it off there. But it was a good discussion, and it's always a fun discussion. This one's always really interesting, and it's cool to see that see Freud put in the light, at least with this chapter, that was a little less negative, and really showing his theories. I liked that probably the most. So that's all. Thanks, guys.